an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. Last night was further proof as to why people don't watch pretend basketball. Last night was further proof as to why people do not respect the WNBA.
Do you want to witness the precise moment that Angel Reese's publicity stunt backfired? Imagine this. Thinking she's going to steal the show in Indianapolis, she launches her shoe ad in the midst of WNBA All-Star Weekend, plastered everywhere. The issue? Injury to Caitlin Clark occurs. The cost of tickets drops 48%. All of a sudden, it appears that Reese is attempting to take advantage of an empty stage with her entire campaign. The figures are honest. Theatrics don't matter when Clark isn't around. We're dissecting all of Reese's embarrassing moments from that weekend and how she's being ruined. To make fun of Baby Giraffe's most recent escapade, leave a comment below.
Come on.
Today, the Chicago Sky are already imploding from within. Fans are turning on the team. Kamilla Cardoso, oh no. Free Kamilla Cardoso. She is fed up with the Chicago Sky experiment. Tyler Marsh, once again, salute to you. You are doing the rest of the league a favor.
Everyone believed that women's basketball would finally become a part of the mainstream sports culture during All-Star Weekend. Do you know what was expected to occur? Reese versus Clark in Indianapolis. Yelling in crowded arenas. Reaching record-breaking viewership would force ESPN management to take notice to women's sports. It was all set up like a Hollywood screenplay.
Angel Reese had her worst professional basketball game, and I'm not even stretching that out. That's not me trying to be overly elaborate, trying to really make it sound awful. No, she was bad. 0 of 8 from the field, 12 rebounds, of which I believe 8 were offensive. It was a terrible showing.
However, a few days before the weekend, Clark's groin ailment is revealed. And all of a sudden, the foundation begins to crumble. For months, fans had been organizing this trip. They purposely purchased tickets to Indianapolis so they could see Caitlin Clark play on her home pitch. The hotels were completely booked. Restaurants were getting ready for throngs they hadn't seen since March Madness was brought to town by the NCAA tournament. The marketing initiatives were already well underway. The Clark-Reese rivalry was expected to draw attention and involvement. Therefore, corporate sponsors had invested a significant sum of money on this weekend. Nike was prepared with limited editions. ESPN was marketing this as a must-watch show. Countdown tweets and speculations about who would win were all over social media.
Chicago Sky fans are officially going to war. They can't stand Tyler Marsh. Let's start here. Worst plus minus in all of the WNBA is, in fact, you guessed it, Angel Reese. 9 out of the 14, bottom 14 are Chicago players. How is Angel running point guard going? 5 turnovers, 0 assists. I don't see Tyler Marsh winning the Coach of the Year.
The ideal setting for Clark was thought to be her home state advantage. Indiana basketball supporters were prepared to fill Gainbridge Fieldhouse and demonstrate to the rest of the league what true basketball fervor looks like. The plot was self-explanatory. At the largest WNBA event of the year, the hometown hero takes center stage. Then, as word got out on social media about Clark's injury, the cascade of events began to unfold. All of those meticulously planned marketing strategies suddenly appeared dubious. The primary plot point in which everyone was interested abruptly disappeared. The sound of the air leaving the balloon was almost audible.
I thought Angel Reese was dedicating this season to winning. I thought she was focused on carrying the Chicago bravado to the promised land of golden toilets and bathrooms with running water. Hey, y'all, it's me, Angel Reese. I'm dedicating this season to victory. I'm struggling to understand the end destination of this journey. I'm struggling to understand the winning that Angel Reese is talking about. Because 2 games into the season, the Chicago Bravado are losing by an average of 30 points. They're getting their ass kicked.
This wasn't simply any player suffering an injury. Clark has introduced fresh perspectives to the league on his own. She converted non-fans of sports into WNBA fanatics. Even those who had no interest in women's basketball tuned in to see what all the excitement was about thanks to her. The player who truly made a difference was lost because of her absence. Instead of serving as the championship weekend for women's basketball, it served as a case study for how flimsy the WNBA's momentum is. All that anticipation, all that build-up, and all those corporate funds staking bets on unprecedented success. When she was unable to, it all depended on one player being well enough to play. You could see how crucial Clark's star power was to the league's recent expansion.
The Sky's minus 60-point diff is the worst through a team's first 2 games in WNBA history. It's real bad. Of course, last night we saw this, of course, is the stat patter extraordinaire. Of course, this was Angel Reese. She got blocked, I don't know how many times, by Jonquel Jones, who just wore her ass out. By the way, all them blocks, when she got the ball back, that's an offensive rebound. Certainly maybe the most embarrassing WNBA clip of all time. It's up there, unfortunately, for Angel Reese. There's many of those over time.
The well-organized women's basketball celebration ended up serving as a reminder of the league's ongoing challenges. However, while Clark was coping with a real ailment and upsetting fans who were truly excited to watch her perform, someone else saw a chance to make the weekend their own. Imagine launching your largest marketing campaign in your competitor's hometown while she is too injured to even come defend her territory. During All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, Angel Reese achieved just that with her "I'm in Your City" promotion. In Caitlin Clark's backyard, she launched her Reebok trademark shoe campaign with billboards, social media posts, and messages that shouted territorial takeover.
Angel Reese last night against the New York Liberty, one of the worst games she's played as a professional, takes that out on the referee.
Angel Reese, I'm in your city. Get caught in your trap. Occupy your trap. Share it on Instagram. Reebok set up a board, and there are roughly 15 fans present. As one might anticipate, Reebok would post a board. Remembering that when I'm there, the massive Caitlin Clark Nike billboard in Chicago will always be remembered. We must always remember that. Therefore, depending on your point of view, the timing couldn't have been more premeditated or worse if Reebok hadn't posted a board for, Angel Reese. Being in Indianapolis, Reese's squad planned the entire campaign with the knowledge that it was Clark's home field. The sneaker launch was more than just a product introduction. Making a statement in hostile territory was the goal.
Are you starting to understand why I make fun of this league? Are you starting to understand why the WNBA struggles to draw an audience based on the product on the court? There are missed shots, bad plays, but in the NBA, missed layups are the exception, not the norm. Last night, Angel Reese played 27 minutes. Angel Reese had 12 rebounds, with 8 coming on the offensive end. 8 offensive rebounds. Angel Reese went 0 for 8 from the field and scored 2 points. 2 points in 27 minutes.
Let's be honest about what transpired. Reese sprayed. Enter your trap. Use Bankroll Fresh's song to take over your trap on her Instagram story, as well as take over your trap messaging across social media. Do you know what it sounds like when your primary rival is sidelined due to an injury? You seem to be attempting to win a combat in which your opponent is unable to even appear. Social media responses from fans told the entire tale. Given the situation, some were labeling it classless and opportunistic. While some fans praised the marketing strategy, many more wondered why Reese felt the need to go to such lengths while Clark was recovering from a real ailment. The remarks varied from lighthearted jokes to outright critiques of the timing.
This is all part of the myth that I'm supposed to believe that Angel Reese is some great player, that she's the rival of Caitlin Clark, and that Indiana Fever fans taunted her with racial taunts, and people are actually believing it, buying it, and selling it. It's all a myth and a lie, and you have to be a part of some religious cult to actually believe that Angel Reese is some sort of effective, big-time basketball superstar.
This is when things start to get interesting. Instead of changing her strategy, when Clark's absence was formally announced, Reese doubled down. The league's other players were considerate of Clark's predicament and restrained their competitive remarks. Not Rhee. She continued to advance the campaign as if nothing had changed. The difference was clear. Rhee was out there attempting to make it all about her feud with someone who couldn't even defend herself on the court, while the other All-Stars concentrated on enjoying the weekend and the league's expansion. According to one video study, Reese's crew was quite skilled at marketing and created the campaign to spark discussion, even if it was a bad one.
The bench. Cardoso with the miss. Angel Reese picks it up, what she's good at. Getting another offensive rebound. She says, give me that. How about another? Persistence trying to pay off. Jones gets a piece. Angel Reese won't give up. Jones with another block.
What could have been a daring marketing ploy instead came off as an attempt to win a game in which your opponent was unable to even put on a suit. You're discussing occupying someone's city while they're unable to participate due to an injury. Competition isn't what that is. That is opportunism masquerading as assurance. The entire campaign emphasized what one expert described as an entirely one-sided rivalry. While Clark dealt with real basketball issues, Rhee was out there punching the air. However, the actual evidence of how severely this backfired was presented in the form of hard, cold statistics.
The person who should be throwing temper tantrums on the Chicago Sky, that person should be this woman right here. That person should be Kamilla Cardoso. Look at the frustration oozing out of Kamilla Cardoso. She gets a switch, Natasha Cloud, she's posting her up. We can't get an entry pass to Kamilla Cardoso.
Are you curious about Caitlin Clark's exact value to the WNBA? Take a look at what transpired when she was unable to play. The entire story is revealed by the ticket price decrease from $121 to $64. When word of her injury spread, there was a 48% decline that occurred practically overnight. It was more than a little dip. The market was screaming that the product would be worth almost half as much without Clark. Prior to Clark's injury, the average purchase price for the All-Star game was $262, making it the most costly in league history, according to TickPick data. The record-breaking demand vanished more quickly than Angel Reese's reputation.
Angel Reese can rebound and has an attitude and has trolled Caitlin Clark into some sort of relevance. There's this racial protection of Angel Reese. Somehow she's important, and somehow anything that bad happens to her, because I'm sure what we're going to hear is like, well, she's struggling offensively because of all the stress she's dealing with. She's created this stress by trolling Caitlin Clark and by trying to pick fights with Caitlin Clark and by jumping up and getting in Caitlin Clark's face, and is going to end in embarrassing fashion.
Are you aware of the implications for other marquee matches? In ways the WNBA has never witnessed before, Clark's presence increases demand everywhere. Resale prices for Fever road games fell 47% for a Washington game and 71% for a Chicago game after she missed regular season games in late May because of a quad issue. That is not the typical impact of an athlete. Superstar economics is that. TV networks and corporate sponsors were forced to quickly modify their coverage strategies and expectations. WNBA Experiences event packages have already sold out. Within hours of seat releases, the venue was completely sold out. When the primary draw failed to materialize, all of that preparation and expenditure appeared to be in vain.